Earlier this morning, I didn't know what I was going to come on here and talk about today, and then just a while ago, I saw this short 1 minute video that got me thinking, and I wanted to share it with you. In the video, there's a woman sitting in a barber chair, and her stylist has the clippers, and she has long hair, and you think, oh, he's just going to cut her hair. And really, I think, why am I watching this video? And all of a sudden, he starts with the clippers and starts cutting her, and he starts taking it all off. Read the caption, finally, apparently she has cancer, and she's going to get her hair cut off. So this goes on. You see him make a couple swipes down to the scalp, and she's starting to struggle, and she starts to mouth to hold back tears. It's clearly a traumatic, emotional event for her. So it keeps going, and the guy cutting her hair is very compassionate, and he can tell that she's crying, having a hard time. So he just stops, and you see in the video he hugs her as she's just sitting there in the chair, and that goes on for a few seconds or so. And I don't know if the video is edited or not, but at the next point in the video, he's got her head completely shaved, and he spins her around so she can see herself in the mirror, and probably going to be a very traumatic experience for her. And he's standing behind her. She's still kind of holding on to his arm from when he was hugging her. And he takes the razor and he starts doing that to his own head, and she can see in the mirror. And then clear she's even more traumatized by that he's cutting his own hair. There's no audio, so you can supply your own, but you can imagine what she was saying. She, of course, probably didn't want him to do that. And so here's the point I was going to make for today. Of course, we've seen people do this before. We've seen commercials where a kid shaves his head to ask the girl that he wants to go to the prom with because apparently she has cancer and is bald. But there's lots of, you've seen news stories about that, and people donating the hair and all those sorts of things. And there's lots of these heartbreaking moments when we feel compassion for the person suffering. And a lot of times we have greater feelings for the person who's the second person cutting the hair. So I began to think about that. In this short 1 minute video, we see the best of humanity, right? We see someone having a difficult time, and we want to ease their pain. And in this case, the guy decides to shave his head, and it's not the first one or the last. But I had a question for a second. I thought, why does this make any difference to the woman who has cancer, who's going to lose her hair anyway? Why does it make any difference that he's now cutting his hair? It's not going to change her cancer diagnosis. It's not going to change the fact that she's going to lose her hair. How does that help anything in any situation, really? Then I thought real quickly, it's an illustration of Philippians chapter 2, verses 6 through 8. And I want to read this to you in the message. You've probably recognized these verses. Talking about Jesus, it says, he had equal status with God, but didn't think so much of himself that he had to cling to the advantages of that status no matter what. Not at all. When the time came, he set aside the privileges of deity and took on the status of a slave, became human. Having become human, he stayed human. It was an incredibly humbling process. He didn't claim special privileges. Instead, he lived a selfless, obedient life and then died a selfless, obedient death, and the worst kind of death at that, crucifixion. So when I was asking myself that question about what difference does it make to that woman, it's probably very important to her that somebody can identify with her suffering and be with her in that moment. The caption to the video is, "No one fights alone." And if I relate it to the verses that we read, there was a point of Jesus being God that he couldn't identify with humanity. He wasn't subject to death. He's God. He's eternal. Yet in his great compassion, in order to identify with us, he took on human form and became subject to all the things that we face as humans, illness and temptation and even death. Jesus so wanted to heal the curse of death over our life that he identified with it, and he took it on himself, and he overcame it, much like that man in the video who wanted to identify with his client. So I just wanted to remind you that today. That's the good news for you today. If you watch the video, think about Philippians 2. Go back and read it on your own. But until then, have a blessed day. We'll see you soon. Feel free to like, comment, share, ask any questions, and I'll do my best. Have a great day.